Hey Sagittarius, it's Viv. Welcome to your week ahead reading for the 30th of July through to the 5th of August 2018. I'm using the Modern Spellcasters Tarot, and it's an 8-card spread, so one card which is the central energy for the week, and then one card representing each day of the week, Monday through Sunday. Okay, so let's dive straight on in, and we don't have a great card which is the overall energy for the week. It's this one, the Five of Wands, and there's a potential for arguments this week. They don't feel to be particularly serious, but you know, this is kind of aggravating stuff. You know, people could there's the potential for people to get upset, people to feel hurt. You know, people are maybe there's like a little bit, it feels like a little bit of mischief here as well, you know, that people sticking their oar in just because they can, you know, and it's not particularly useful. They're just kind of I used to know somebody like that. They just did it for fun, you know. They didn't really have anybody's best interest at heart apart from amusing themselves, you know, that they'd say something or do something or just throw something in the mix, you know, that caused disagreement, petty conflict between other people, and they just stand back and watch it happen and think it highly amusing. So there's the potential for that this week. There's an overall sort of aggravating energy this week, and certainly as we start off the week on Monday, we have the King of Swords, who's a very powerful character, somebody who has a firm grip on the situation. He rules with an iron hand. He feels like very challenging, extremely formidable, but this card can also indicate the potential for argument, and together with the Five of Wands, this would seem that a disagreement of some sort with somebody is inevitable. It feels like this literally is on the cards. As we move through to Tuesday, we have the Eight of Wands here. And the Eight of Wands with the influence of the Five of Wands, this feels like whatever kicked off yesterday continues today, in that communication is received. It could be, you know, you send an email, they send an email. It could be through text, you know, something that comes through really, really quickly, and it's sort of like a spat. They say something, you say something, and it sort of escalates, you know, it kind of gathers pace and takes off really quickly. But it feels like, you know, it's fairly short-lived. It feels like something that's like, oh, he said this and she said that, and that was really unnecessary, and I don't really understand where they're coming from and what's happening and why this has happened. But it feels like it sort of like, you know, comes up and it reaches a point, and then, you know, it settles back down again, and everything comes back down to earth. The Ace of Pentacles here, it could indicate that there is some kind of a gift in this situation, that you will profit from it and benefit from it. So there has been this argument, but you know, the parties involved do come back down to earth really quickly. There's sort of a clearing of the air and a starting over, and I think maybe the possibility for a new level of understanding, that the parties involved become much more grounded and much more sure and secure of themselves, and it feels very positive. So I think maybe looking back, when you when you get through this, if this is resonating with you, when you look back, you'll see, oh, actually, that wasn't, it wasn't my best moment. It wasn't pleasant to live through at the time, but it did create the space for a new foundation, and for something else to come of that. It feels like there's a new level of understanding here. So it feels like things have, it kind of like they took off, and they really took off, and people got on their high horse, and it kind of reached a point, and then it came back down again. It settled down, and when it settled down, it really settled down. It was like, okay, that's over with now. So I think as we move through the week, we get the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands, following on from the Ace of Pentacles, it feels like you're able to put this conflict aside, these concerns aside, and look to the future. So it feels like there's a rising above and a getting over, and the things that are really important to you, you're letting take flight. So you're releasing what doesn't serve you. You're releasing the things that it feels like there's a release of negativity here. There's a release of the conflict, and it feels like there's perspective here, and you see what's really important. So it feels like you're not going to be dragged down and get caught up in somebody else's drama. You're releasing all of that and setting that free, and as a result, I think you'll find that will pay off in the future. So you're looking ahead with great optimism, and just not, you're just refusing to get caught up in this. That, I think this is telling me, the King of Pentacles here is telling me that by the time you get to Friday, you really do see the wisdom of that action. You really do see the benefit of, both. You see the benefit of things working out the way that they have done. Like I said before, it wasn't a pleasant thing to live through, to have to experience, but there is a new level of understanding here, and there's much more certainty, there's much more security, and the course of action that you've taken, it really feels like it's going to pay off. You're going to reap the benefit, you're going to reap the rewards, and this is it feels very much like the right thing. And then at the top of the reading, so the energy, we have the Chariot, and the energy of the Chariot is sort of like filtering down through the rest of the cards. It feels like a moving forward. Things can move ahead now, with the release of this petty nonsense. There's nothing holding back this progression now. So things move forward unhindered, and it feels like release. It feels like there's no holding back, and there are no obstacles here now. It's just release is the only word that I can think of. It's like somebody's taken the brake off, and this was getting in the way before, and now somebody's saying, this had to happen for this new understanding to happen, for this kind of a re-establishment of or an establishment of a new foundation. that had to happen, and you see that, and now things are released, the brake's taken off, and things move forward. And there's such a sense of relief with that. As you get to the end of the week, we have the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands, you know, the person here has taken the one of the wands, he's cast it over his shoulder, he's holding on to it sort of easily there, you know, he's managed everything, he's coped with everything, he's overcome everything. Things were a bit of a trial, but he's got through, and there's nothing holding him back, there's nothing stopping him. The card at the bottom of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. So this, to me, with the Chariot card, it feels like movement. You know, it feels like what goes around comes around. That things are always in motion, and things are never stuck. It's only our feelings, only our thinking that gets stuck. You know, that we can get caught up in a loop. But things at some point have to move on, they have to move forward. And so where there's been disagreement and you know, there's been a lack of understanding, there then comes an understanding. You know, it has to happen. So things are always moving forward, even though it's not obvious to us. So after things have been halted, the brake comes off, and then there's acceleration, and after there's been an obstacle, there's overcoming of obstacles, and there's great relief and satisfaction in that. So there we go, Sagittarius, those are your messages for this week. I hope you found that useful and that they resonated. I'm recording the monthly videos at the moment, so I hope to get those up very soon. I'll be back next time with another weekly read, so thanks for tuning in, and until then, take care.